the team that Fabian moved over from. So it's a very much it's a barren land right now. We know nothing about these two teams on this map, Jess. This is going to be a thrilling one.
If you combine all of the bans from Vitality from both EUL and their French league, they've banned Theme Park a lot. In fact, I've got even just 11 times here that I just have on my screen right now, let alone the other ones that I'm sure they've banned even beyond June. So for the most part, I think Vitality have not really wanted to play this map. Maybe now that they've had the break and they had that, big period of time between stage 1 and stage 2 to maybe prep this map, it's something they feel more comfortable on. Time will tell, of course. They do start an attack, and we do consider Theme Park to be relatively defender-sided, especially with how much you can get away with on a lot of those sites. So we'll see how that goes. Monty and Thatcher Band coming in. Not a surprise. Monty can take a lot of space on the map quite quickly, and it is quite a wide map, so you really want to disable that where you can. Well, Mai and Valkyrie as well. Valkyrie is probably a really good ban here because she can be thrown outside. Well, the cameras can be thrown outside. Easy jump outs from the multiplicity of windows across the map, something you want to try and deny. And think of Dragon as well, Des. You toss those cams anywhere in Dragon, they're really hard to find, forces you to bring an IQ. Maybe they don't want that.
Also got to consider on this map, and to lean towards your point, we saw Na'Vi playing against Tempera on this, or what it was last season. I think you and I cast that one. That ended 7-1, if I remember correctly. I haven't got the stats up in front of me, but I remember it being an absolutely dominant game because Tempera could not piece together an attacking round.
Yeah.
It was so difficult. Na'Vi just shutting them down in what I'm calling the control rooms, and I don't mean controllers in the room that is called control, but looking at rooms like cash, like cafeteria. Those rooms are so difficult to get through and get out of as the attackers because you can just get yourself peppered from a number of angles once you get through them. So the upstairs sites in particular can be really hard to break. Downstairs can be a little bit of a different story. I feel quite a lot of teams have now started getting used to breaking this one open. Normally with a maintenance take, you get some frag grenades over the wall, you destroy any mute jammers or electrification gadgets on the other side, and through the wall you go. The big focus then comes on the rest of the team having to force their way through single doorways though, and we all know how messy that can be at points.
The good thing as well is that Prano, you can see he's not bringing a C4, so that makes me think he's going to impact trick. And the ability to be able to impact trick those summers from Ace has been popularized as the new meta of denying him. Even if you do just open up one tiny little line of sight, kind of like a Habana-sized hole, then you just impact trick and you go, well, they can't get through it, so we're happy with that, but we've got to be careful about the line of sight that creates. So for the most part, it looks like they're actually going to do an extended hold. We don't always see this. We have seen some teams do it to varied success, but they're going to open up barrels, play a little bit of that extension out, and then focus on keeping maintenance and yellow closed to the best of their ability.
That's the hard focus, I guess, and this is almost like a lick of what we saw coming out of Cloud9. It was yesterday in APAC, actually bringing the Twitch along when they didn't have the option of the Thatcher to help them clear walls. And at the time, we were screaming when it was on Oregon, like, man, he's got to get that mirror wall on the freezer wall, on the mirror window on the freezer wall, sorry. Did manage to clear it off before he lost the Twitch drone, so we'll see just how impactful Fabian can be on that operator. Not only a great gun, but also with the kind of increase in bans that we're seeing coming against the Thatcher, and even the slight weakness in Thatcher now that he doesn't destroy gadgets. Twitch is starting to turn into quite a viable alternative.
The F2 is still a great weapon. I mean, pros at this level, they can control recoil of all different guns. You think about the SMG-11 even. I mean, if you can control that quite well, you can control the F2, so there should be no problems. But looks like the entry here with the assistance of that Log-G bomb will get Prano's position called out. It's up to Hungary now to try and clear away that roamer, and they'll get away with their life barely, but Rise collects Prano as that call gives away his position. And that's a really good starting pick. No impact tricks possible. Top floor looking like the focus here for Vitality. Drug control has to be next because if Hive stays alive in there, he has multiple angles he can watch. And you were talking about control areas of the map. I like to call them key areas of the map. That's going to be one of them for this particular side.
I like this slow, clear setup they've got here as well, where you have the calls coming in out of the KB, you've then got the Nomad to clear ground that you've taken. It's almost like inching forward step by step and making sure the areas of the map that you need are under your control before you look to then start proceeding forward. So it should slowly push Secret back in towards the site. Looks like the majority of them are here. You can see 3 on your screen right now. Patbull, Chate, and Draven all lurking around. Hive's still lurking out, as we know, out towards Drug, but I wonder how long he holds up there before he eventually gives up and pulls back to site. Even starting to look up towards the yellow stairs here, so watching the north side as well as the west. And like you say, maybe he is trying to siphon the attackers over towards maintenance to make sure that's where the pressure and attention goes.
curious to see him having reinforced both of those drug walls. Maybe he doesn't want to actively challenge yellow. Maybe he just wants to be able to hold drug to make sure that no one pinches from barrels. That's a fair enough strategy. I'll give him to that. I'll see if that works though, because you can hear now maintenance is getting opened up. So the focus won't be barrels. The focus might not even be yellow. It's on the other side of the map. So Hive needs to replace himself.
Time, though, time. They've gone through maintenance. They followed the plan that Secret laid out for them all that time ago. Now have a very little amount of time to make anything happen. Draven fluffs it up a little bit as Goga charges through. Don't think expected him to go so aggressively into that one. The Melusi here on the throne is going to get destroyed out. So that now should mean that we can see the plan starting to go down. Another couple of kills rain through. Patbull striking back. Can he catch one more? Comes out. The plan's going down. Patbull goes big. Shotgun in hand. Goes through the smoke to the left. Finds him. Patbull on his debut on Theme Park finds a huge first round. Secret taking the first one off the back of a massive play from another golden shining MVP who's been introduced into a team this stage.
Oh,
it's on his debut, Jess.
It's on his debut. Look, I thought you were singing a little bit of Beyonce there, the Irreplaceable song by Beyonce where they go to the left, to the left. That's why I thought you were trying to give Patbull there a little bit of a Beyonce vibe. She's the queen after all, so why not?
Can't say I was.
Too bad. He does manage to find the planter eventually, and it did come down to those dying seconds. But had he have got the plant down, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He was in a prime position to be able to get that kill. And well, that round, I wouldn't say confidently went to the hands of Team Secret. That came down to the real poor time management of Vitality. Once they had the top floor, I would have imagined, especially with drug reinforced, or rather lab now as we call it, with lab reinforced, you can be pretty safe opening up yellow. Only one person needs to watch 90. You've got the top floor control. You've got the verticals. No one can deny you. Boom, open it up, and then go to look to displace anyone on the fireplace. Go for a plant behind pillar. Instead, they all rotated everyone towards maintenance. They didn't bother opening up yellow as well, which they could have to provide pressure. Interesting push. Not sure what that was about.
It was guided. It's like shepherds just guiding their sheep and saying, come, my young lambs, please. Go towards maintenance, open the wall, push it aggressively so he can collapse on you as soon as you try and make anything happen. Never heard a shepherd say that in my life, but apparently that's what these shepherds say. I think a lot of that did come down to the clutch factor coming out of Patbull, though, because it was well played by Vitality. They did find a couple of kills to bring it down to a 4 versus 2. That's the dream case for them. If they can repeat that again, I don't think lightning strikes twice here. You aren't going to see Patbull clutching up every single round. It's not the style of play that he really brings to the team. But give it a bit of time. We'll see what he can do here behind a shield inside a cafeteria.
This is such an aggressive place to play. I mean, if you do a cafe hold, for the most part, your ability to rotate out is very limited, unless you place a shield further back towards the double door. And of course, nowadays with the remake of Theme Park, you can't be seen from the window that precedes at the top of the lobby there. So I think having that shield so far off is actually a detriment, because if it gets destroyed, as they're looking to do now, you have to be able to escape, and that puts you in the line of fire. There we go.
Better. Slow, peaceful start. No one looking to get into any early engagements, in this mirror being facing in towards Cafe makes this, again, one of those control rooms that I spoke about. You get control of it. Guess what? You're staring down the barrel of, well, a mirror, but likely peeking out to the right-hand side, but also got to consider that mirror window is feeding over a lot of information to Haifu's playing behind it. This is sometimes where you see, and normally the go-to strat here is to stick 1 or 2 players inside a Cafe. The rest move out towards the far east side to assume control of Cash, and then look to push either through control from the south side of Dragon, or go up through the more conventional route down towards Office. And that's when you can then start applying pressure through initiation to try and get a plant down. Again, that's the norm. I'm wondering how much Vitality are going to put here into trying to take Cafe. So far, it seems to be all of them, as everyone is around on drones. They've got one plane below as well. It's all about trying to make sure they get this west side control, and I'm not convinced it's going to be that simple for them.
Doing a cafe take is really dangerous because it limits your ability to be able to get in. That's a well-placed C4, but somehow Goga dodges it completely. And that's why you see Draven all the way over on the eastern side of the map. That kind of extended hold out towards the vault and everything is usually countering teams who like to push in from control over. Good one tap from Bibu onto the head of Draven, and that's going to give them the access over to that side of the map should they need it. But it looks like the cafe push is what they're after here. It does become a bit of a kill hole, so I hope they do try and pressure in, but it looks like they don't have any way of getting rid of those bandits off the wall.
And this is what kind of confused me. I thought we'd see them used towards the north, but I guess when you know there's downstairs threat coming from the side of Vitality, it's not really the end of the world. Shate up on Arcade stairs. He's managed to find one for himself, and surely they know that he's down here. Gonna find a second, does get traded out by Hungry. He goes on to find a second as Prano, the key fragger for this team, is dropped. And look who's left, Jess. It's Imhal by himself. Packball can't sadly stop the one rotating around to the side. Vitality are fragging out today. Despite round one going the way that it did, finding the kills that they did was very impressive, and they're putting Secret in the dirt in quite a number of these gunfights.
That was a good refrag there from Hungary. I think the biggest thing for Vitality that I've noticed them improve on since stage 1 to now is their focus on making sure they're in spaces to trade. I talk about it a lot and making sure that players are in positions to be refragged or be able to refrag someone else. And I think what we're seeing from Vitality here, yes, okay, they were kind of being forced through a kill hole, but that kill hole allowed them to be able to trade back really effectively. I would love to be able to hear the comms right now. I know they're all in English now, as they're one of the most diverse teams that exist in all of EUL at current. But pretty good round there. It does come down to a bit of a flurry though, which you wonder whether or not that's the initial plan to begin with.
The weird thing is, I thought this around Vitality last time, and I didn't so much write them off, but after seeing how they played against Tempera, how the game against Virtus Pro went on Oregon as well, I thought to myself, I was like, so many of these rounds are being won by like do or die 30-second, we all burst in and we try and get kills. Both of these rounds have felt a lot like that, but it hasn't felt to the stage that it's uncoordinated or they're unsure of themselves. It more feels like it's a team called Execute, likely led by Fabian, saying, right, boys, now, in through windows, in through cafe, go, go, go. There's a guy here, there's a guy there, kill him fast. And these fast executes are leaving the other team reeling, and maybe it's that, maybe that's part of the game plan. Maybe it is overload the comms of the defenders here so they can't deal with all this aggression at once. Because outside of Shate getting that 2K from the side, that was really the only threat that Secret had in that last round against Vitality's Onslaught.
It's almost reminiscent of the old Vitality back when they were the full French roster. They used to prime their execute for the last 10 to 20 seconds, and, well, that always worked out for them. We obviously want to see Vitality these days be a little bit more effective because you can't always rely on that anymore. And Fabian decides, well, one of his charges will have to go towards getting some of these cameras, which on a map like Theme Park, which is quite spread out, and the cameras are quite spread out as well, that's actually pretty viable and okay to go, okay, I can use my Twitch drone on this. I do get a regen on the tasers, so that's okay. But I'm hoping he snags a mirror here because this could be huge.
As part of the game plan, admittedly, not world ending if you don't. There is that play from downstairs through the vertical floorings that you can make use of at the same time. But those mirror windows being cleared out, they removed that bottleneck. I think it was Demo all that time ago that once said to me something like, mirrors make undefendable sites defendable and make defendable sites like fortresses to try and break through. They become almost impossible to break at the best of times. So being mindful of where those are and the damage they're causing in terms of how freely they can push in is one thing. Draven finds one, instantly traded back out a couple of seconds later by Rise. So at least here we're seeing the refrags coming in by either side, to be fair. It was Shate in the last round find the 2 kills, instantly traded by Hungry. And in this round here, it's the same thing once again. Despite Draven getting the opening kill, Rise is there to trade straight back. And I really like what I'm seeing from Vitality in that department so far.
That was a good shot from Draven, and in fact, he actually would have gotten away with that if players on Vitality weren't playing hand in hand. They got a buddy system by the looks of it, where they go, okay, if you're going to push here, I'm going to push with you. I'm going to make sure I got a drone. You've got a drone for us, no problems. I'll hold the line of sight for us whilst you drone, and that's what we're talking about. This kind of teamwork and coordination from Vitality in Stage 2 is very much not reminiscent of them in Stage 1. Good to see. Here's the buddy system in action here. Will it reap them a reward of Cafe?
Justin needs to be so mindful there because I don't think he even saw the bottom side of the door. So if there was a drone in place, he would have got himself caught out. Admittedly, a lot of drones gone on the side of Vitality, only 3 remaining so far. They are trying to get grenades here inside a cafe. Shate hasn't felt the force of even one of them yet. More like a faraway explosion, and finally that call will come out, and now they have a very good idea where he is. Can look to try and bail, but Prano's watching the angle on Tagoga as he goes into cafe window. Shate challenging, almost gets himself snagged down, but not quite against Hungry. Hype elsewhere gets a C4 kill, so it's a 4 versus 2. And for this first time in this match, after 3 rounds, we are seeing Secret winning a good number of these gunfights. But Hungry, my God, is he on something these last couple of play days? He was 16-9 last week in one of their fixtures. Today, he's had a double kill in the last round. Here, he's found himself something, sat at 3-1. Can he swing in and find the next couple of kills for them? He's all by himself. Gonna swing around and try and get one, but Packball, a little rat lies down. Still gets the shotgun kill onto Hungry, and Secret take round number 3.
Good little bit of game sense there, and for him to be able to pull out the shotgun, not having enough ammunition in the SMG. And both of those players definitely know how to control an SMG. I mean, back when Hungry used to be a smoke main, no surprise he would have preference on using that in an entry, and especially in a short-range engagement. You don't want to be harnessing the ACOG there. You want to be trying to get a weapon that can ADS quick enough and not be aiming down sights too far so that you can get that kill. He was very close, I'll give him that. I actually thought he might have been able to get that kill, but it was too far, too late anyway. And that's a good round there, but as a whole, close rounds. And that's what we want to see, especially from Vitality on attack. On a map that we would consider defender-sided, they're giving a lot of pressure here to Secret. And Secret must feel, especially going into a match they thought should be pretty easy, given Vitality's distaste for this map, they're now probably reeling a little bit.
I think for both teams, it was kind of a distaste as a map. Like, we haven't seen Secret play it recently from my best memory. In fact, in the last 3 months alone, according to the stats I've got, they haven't touched it at all. So it's been one they've kept in the back pocket for the longest time. No doubt for a game they felt would be quite tough. And obviously now they've brought it out here. Very, very different story. And in fact, the last time they did play it, believe it or not, was against Sisu all the way back in Challenger League Season 11. Back when they were known as Team August, they crushed them 7-2 there. That's one hell of a throwback.
That's a long time ago, and
Humble
the reason
beginnings.
and the reason I sort of said that maybe it would be more distasteful for Vitality was that they banned it so many times, and Secret only banned it twice. So with so less bans, was it just coincidental that all the other bans happened from the other teams? I tend to think not, but nonetheless, we will see how this half progresses. We've seen Secret be a bit of a banger on attack recently. Yeah, I think you'll admit that on attack, we've seen some really cool things from Secret. I want to see how that goes on Theme Park. It's a map when you have a Thatcher ban and you don't bring a Maverick, for example, that can be pretty tough. We're seeing Vitality ditch the Maverick and go Twitch time after time. I'm not really seeing it work too well for them. There's been some walls left closed that I arguably think should be left open. And speaking of left open, this is a free mirror here for Fabian. What is he, zap the mirror? Zap the mirror? Pop.
He didn't want to give himself away. The mirror most definitely knows that he's there now. That's why he's got a piece out of there with that drone. And the yellow ping, of course, was hoping to help them catch Hive, but no one in position near the windows inside of the kitchen to be able to catch him out with a spray through. 5 versus 5, they have got rid of that mirror window. Again, those breakpoints are being opened up, and it was a true caster curse there, Jess. You're talking around saying, haven't seen it be very effective as he's staring at the gas canister attached to a mirror window.
More in reference to those walls, I think, and they've been kind of lucky that they've been bringing the mirror on the site because they've been leaving half of the wall soft as a result of that mirror, so that's really aided them in being able to get through some of those walls that would otherwise require a Maverick. You can't go underneath that wall and get that opened up, and that's the second Twitch drone gone. But the site, of course, is Initiation, and, well, they're going to get an easy walk in the park into it. Control is in their control now. And Shate, if he can get a pick here, this would actually be quite big. I'm not sure whether or not, considering that Goga really hasn't deployed any of those Selmas. We can hear one going off now. Will he also deploy it on the cash wall?
Grenade sings through to catch Shate here. It'd be one hell of a throw from Hungry. Things singing it out there, and oh my god, it's the Cash. Catches in with it beautifully from inside a Cash. I saw that wall open up vertically, horizontally, and thought, man, that looks like the right sort of post-box angle here for a grenade, and catches one out. Big Blue's going to bring down Hype as well inside a site, so that mirror from earlier on that they had standing, they caught on the ping, now gone. They've got rid of the mirror, of the mute that was on the wall leading into Initiation for Control. They've got rid of the mirror window inside a bunk daycare area. They've set themselves up here for an execute into the site, so it all comes down to what Patbull can do on the hold here, given all the setup work that we have seen coming out of the side of Vitality.
Ooh, some missed shots by Patbull there, and as the execute comes out, it's Goga who runs in alone. Yet again, C4 reigns in. The trade shouldn't be applied there by Vitality, but as they run on in, Draven saves Patbull's life. He's got 1 hit of HP left, and is there another C4 to deny this?
Why is there one on the rappel? There's one on the rappel outside the windows here. Now they should be able to try and look for a plan. Rise might have enough time. I don't know. Actually, Draven might be quite close. Inside of Control, going to swing around the corner. All he had to do was sit and wait patiently. And Secret take round number 4 as we do see the clock running down to 0. Really good start from Vitality. A lot of work being done by Fabian on those drones to get rid of both the mirror window and the mute jammer. But sadly, when it came round to actually executing, Secret were all too prepared.
I'd love to see what would happen if Secret decide to ditch the mirror not to say that it's not working per se, but to ditch it and just go, we're going to solidify all of these walls. If you don't bring a Maverick, you're pretty damn stuck. Now that they're going Armory and Throne Room, that's only really viable, I guess, if you can't get those grenades over and there's a good ADS trick from Shate into both the barrels wall and the maintenance wall, and you could really easily get that yellow wall open. That's more viable on the upstairs sides. But for this one, you can time delay, like we saw in that first round, really well if you get it right with the impact tricking, ADS tricking, so on and so forth. I'm not entirely sure whether or not maybe Vitality, their lineup might not be suited to now that 6-pick off the mirror. It's almost like they heard me. I don't know how. But this might actually really favor Secret now.
They've lent into this Amaru now for a couple of rounds. Well, it's interesting to see it being brought along here again, despite being on the downstairs. I guess if they're looking to make it for the rapid rotate straight up to the top floor and look to try and catch someone off guard, maybe on a late rotate back to site, it can work wonders for them. But we'll see exactly what Bibu can do with that. The one thing I want to touch on with the Amaru, mind you, it's the same reason we saw a lot of Capitao in APAC yesterday thinking about it, is now that they have that secondary hard breach gadget. If you're only bringing along the Ace here, of course, you want to be using that to get open the key walls, like Maintenance Wall, maybe leaning in towards something if you want to, like the Barrels Wall, or less of a focus. You also need a backup there in case you do need something like a hatch to get opened up. And that's where someone like Bibu comes in handy, but you've got to be so mindful of those Kaid Electro Claws, given how long it takes for those breaches to go off.
Be interesting to see where they can even get it off either. And what you said before about shooting on in, catching anyone who might be rotating back to side or who may just be holding top floor. And that is Bibu's job here. He's already got one destroyed drone, so now he's going to face check the rest. And it looks like we've got a full turtle hold here. I mean, they are doing an extended hold below. You've got the barrels open again. We got that drug control, and Prano's going to be the one to assist in holding that one this time instead of being a little bit more aggressive upstairs. But we've got Packball, Shate, Hive. There we go, behind the throne. And instead of roaming and getting picked apart like Vitality did really well on that first round, what they've decided to do now is be really mindful of getting this turtle right. And when you get it right on a site like this, it can work wonders. Now you get this hatch open for free. You won't have to use 2 Selmas, of which a hatch requires. And that's probably a pretty good usage of that secondary gadget.
I still got both of his Electro Claws in his back pocket here, which I'm not too sure of. I thought there'd at least be one deployed somewhere, if not to the hatch, then somewhere else, because it's going to force Fabian to risk those Twitch drones getting in and trying to clear one out. Not sure what he's trying to hold on for here, unless his whole game plan is to trick that maintenance wall and keep the aggressors out. That all comes down to what side or what focus we want to see coming out of Vitality. With all of them putting a lot of pressure onto Prado inside of Drug right now, it may be they go for a yellow take instead and look to come into the side through the north.
Like I said before, yellow is their best chance of being able to get into side. Drug is reinforced off. You do not have to worry about the angle. You only have to worry about bathroom and making sure that someone has at least a little bit of that dragon control so no one rotates from 90. Now they can open this wall up for free. They've got top floor control. This is what I expected from Vitality on the first round, and this gives them a better opportunity to get in and get a player down. Now they just need to get rid of that smoke who's in the northwestern corner of that particular side.
He just yeeted that through. I think he missed the Selma. The third Selma went through the wall.
Yeah, that's okay though. We all have those moments.
Is it because you can't run into sight now? You're going to have to vault over. And if there is someone hanging to the right-hand side, which commonly you will have, it's where Packball is now, you are stuck in that animation. And sure, you can pre-fire, but if he's pre-firing, if he's got that name down right, or if you've got someone like the Goya playing all the way at the back of sight, waiting for you to step through, you're walking into death there, or vaulting into death, should we say.
Oh no, Prano has missed the rotate of Bibu into barrels there, and that means he's been able to get in for free. But guess what? The whiffs come in, and that's great there for the defenders. This is a flurry of kills back and forth. Blue, orange, blue, orange. Can Hungary get down and get these kills? We've seen him get close to a clutch before, but this looks like it's asking a lot, and yes, it is. Hive will finish that one off, and, well, you know what the downfall was there? You did not displace that smoke in the corner next to fireplace, and that is a big doozy. I know you can't see it from above, but there has to be a plan. Once you open yellow, someone either has to swing in through split, or you got to rush side at the same time. It's the only way to do it. It looks like they tried that, but there wasn't a displacement of that key player.
Or the thing we've seen quite a few teams do before is you get someone above on the hatch, flash out the player playing in that corner whilst they're set in the corner. They're flashed out, you jump in, you take the trade, they can't see you. The other fear, though, is what I mentioned earlier on, was the fact you've got the Goyo and the Kaid sat at the very, very south side.
Yeah.
Just saying, by all means, please do step into sight, step into our kingdom, step into our domain, and we will smite you where you stand. The most interesting part of all of that, I think, came down to, again, the fact no electro claws were used. They were all in back pocket. None were placed on maintenance. It sounded like he was just trying to hold on to them in case maintenance did become a thing. Again, maybe it's they wanted to, again, siphon Vitality towards a certain area of the map. And by seeing the Kai, knowing that he was stood by maintenance, maybe the fear was just there that they're going to electrify this if we try and go through. We've only got the ace here to really make use of for a hard breach. You've got to get this right. Let's just go straight for the north instead.
It was absolutely the right decision. Of course, it didn't come out in their favor, but it was very close, and that's the strategy they should have employed in round one. That might have even gotten them a second attacking round in the pocket here, but with a 4-1 now, this split is looking very good for Secret. Mind you, when we're talking about defense here on Theme Park, you do want to be walking away with the predominant amount of rounds on defense, because when the half flips and Vitality get onto defense, I think they'll be looking to do the exact same thing straight back.
I would really love to see Secret here commit some electrification towards that mirror window, because this wall facing in towards Cafe got shot out, well, not shot out, but it got nuked by the ace very easily in the last round. Hive, you dirty little bugger. That's Hungry going down as well, with the grenades in the back pocket now both lost as well. That's pretty critical.
You know what I love about that as well is that if you play pretty passive for the first 5 rounds, no one expects on the 6th round that you're going to be running out, because they haven't seen it any round before. So playing unpredictable like that can really throw off your opponents, give them this safe sense of security.
Well, I'm just putting my notes there. It's Hive Cash run out. Gross. Not what you expect to see from a player like him. Disgusting, absolutely. Otherwise, you're looking towards the C4s. I think Saturn 3 members are Secret right now. I didn't see what was going on earlier on. Easy, can we see the extended overlay, please? No, I guess we won't. He's not listening to me. He's opting to ignore me today. So I'm guessing we're not talking about C4s today. Thank you very much, Easy. Either way, I'm thinking they've got a few. There we go. They've got 3 on sides. They have a lot to play behind here. And I assume you'll be looking towards 1 or 2 to make use of those. Given that they're currently playing on the upstairs, though, and no one's looking to play downstairs, I'm curious on what the use case might be. Just chuck them into Cash maybe and hope for the best, because for the 3rd time now for Vitality, it looks like Cafe is once again going to be the focus point, not Cash, sorry.
Fabian smartly decided to give up on the Twitch because I think he had realized that he'd become predictable with it, and this time go below and displace that mirror by using those impacts below. It's one of those areas you can do it, and there's not a lot of areas in Theme Park you can go below and get some of those key walls. So he's been able to do it here, allows his teams to be able to open up the wall. Was that a C4? Very possibly, and that gets rid of one of the Selma charges. But he still has 2 more in pocket. There's so much he can do, but oh no! Hive scores a triple kill, and this round seems all too easy for Secret.
Just a little bit. When you're picking up members like that for fun, Fabian, who did all the work from downstairs, Goga, who was the only real tool they had to get these walls open. Man, now they're getting domed. Chate once again is inside of Arcade. He got a double kill from this spot last time. Another kill would close the round out, but it's all down to Rise by himself. No air jumps in back pocket. Being smoked out and is forced to charge forward. I'm pretty sure we know how this round tends to end from here, Jess. Very rarely do we see a 1 versus 5 with 30 seconds to go come all the way through. We'll find Prano, but got 4 more to go through in 20 seconds. Not going to happen.
He might as well pad the stats at this point, try and get some exit kills, give his team time to talk before the rounds, the side switch, and that's exactly what he'll do. I often, and it seems strange to say this, but I often feel like I don't see Rise throughout a round, and that's because he's a flex player who's so focused on being that rotate middleman. He's trying to set off those air jabs in key places. He's trying to draw him for the team, and he's trying to be that intermediary between the rotates the attackers, or rather the defenders, can go past, and his teammates entering. So he's in a bit of a weird role for the team, and as a result, we don't see his impact as much as I wish we could. But that's why he was left last there, because by the time all the rest of his teammates went down, he had just finished his job, really. It's a bit of a shame, but we'll go on to the defense now for Vitality, and they'll start bunking Daycare, not opting to go to what people have argued is one of the stronger sides of Armory and Throne.
It feels like that was the go-to popular site when we first came to this map, and then over time teams have sort of gravitated towards the top floor, and now we're seeing slightly different holes downstairs in Armory and Throne where they all feel quite balanced out. Admittedly, we don't see a whole ton of Theme Park. Still isn't kind of up there, I'd say, in the most played maps. By the way, in that last round when I was like, C4s please, C4s, Easy popped up and has atted me in Discord and gone, sorry, Des, I was being handed my food. And I was like, aren't you a lucky sod to be given food whilst you're sat there observing? It's like, oh, feed me another great peasant as I sit here, toggling some joysticks on my controller. What a man. What a life to live. But honestly, a massive thank you to Easy and Medics. Always love giving them a shout out. They do an incredible job on the observing. And all of this week, we've got Easy, and then I believe Medics is back next week.
I mean, the biggest thing about our observers is they observe every game, game after game after game. They don't get breaks like we do. So a huge shout out to them. They do a massive job every single day for us, 5 days a week. It's really, really lovely to have such apt observers with us. And they take every game as seriously as the previous, which is really nice to see. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. There's a lot of people in our community that do a heck of a lot, from moderators to observers to our colleagues who are sitting behind watching this game now. I really appreciate you guys a heck of a lot. But Jesus. I also appreciate...
I was just memeing on Easy a little bit, and you've gone into a massive, like, thank you. Like, you've just taken an award at the Grammys or something.
Look, I think they deserve a little bit of limelight, and I don't think they often get it.
I'll thank my mum, I'll thank my lampshade, my cat, I'll even thank my computer as well. Do you want to keep going with that, Jess?
Please, please. Look, I think now that we're about a minute into this round, the biggest thing that I've noticed is that they're waiting to be able to try and get these members back from this extended hold. They've decided to do a hold all the way to initiation. Rise will collect the first kill onto Shartay, and that's onto the Ash. Not a huge drop there for Secret, because the Ash, whether or not he used his flashes or not will yet to be told. But that mirror stays up, which is an odd mirror to play with, especially when your feet can be seen. But it should go soon, and I think Secret's time delay here is from the fact that it's been an extended hold.
I think you are right. For Shartay, it's not this fragging Ash roll. It is more towards the utility usage, destroying the shields, given there's a Goyo on side. That's the biggest ache for me. If they haven't gone through in those first 60 seconds, because he did die around the 2-minute mark, if he hasn't gone through the flashbangs, if he didn't go through the 2 breaching rounds, that is going to hurt them when it comes around to execution time. I'm paying a lot of attention, though, towards Hive playing on this Kali. It was Chaos who played it a lot for them last season on maps like Oregon. I think it's the big focus here is to help get these walls open, but at the minute, it doesn't appear to matter. Can, of course, also destroy shields with them. This is 3 kills flying the way of Vitality in quick time, mind you, and even to get a nice shot coming out of Draven. So, 2 left alive, Prano and Hive. Not a drone between them. 60 seconds to go. Another one of those rounds where we have a good feeling on how this is going to conclude.
It's a bit of a surprise that once they were able to get at least the bottom part of the mirror open, and then they did have that cash control, that they didn't try and push it as aggressively as I thought they should have. I mean, I believe they did try and open it up, but it's these picks onto the entry players which have forced them back. Yet another pick onto Hive. Of course, he's got that sniper rifle, which is not good in close range engagements, especially against the Vector, and Fabian will finish him off. And now Prano, one of the best players there for Secret, he'll get clapped down, and that's a flawless round from Vitality on defense. And I did say we should probably wait until the halves switch, because we got to see how Vitality play on defense. And well, a flawless round is a great way to start it off here.
Oh, my dearest Jess. We have said that in all 3 games so far today, and look at what's happened in the switch. Look at what has happened. The worst thing is, I think back in the first game, there was a flawless round in round 6. We've just seen one come through in round 7. Okay, it's a slight swap over. But you just get the feeling that although Vitality have looked good here, it's now about continuing that into a good number of other rounds to see this continue forwards. Don't forget, for Secret, 1 round is all they have to get right, and they find themselves in a spot to be at least getting a point away from this. That'll be 10 points in 4 games. They couldn't have paid enough money to get that last season. It would have been insane to think about, given they finished on 8 points and now be on 10 in 4 games. That would be mega. And they can still go on and win this and walk away with 12. But I will keep on coming back to what I mentioned about Vitality in the first half. Today, I've been really impressed by their fragging capability. And for a team that I think last stage lacked fraggers, or at least standout fraggers, things are on the change for them.
You're absolutely right. I was so impressed to have seen them come back into stage 2 and look like they were a coordinated team. We said, give them stage 1. We gave them all of that breathing room, all of that off time in the off season. And then they came back, and I can safely say that this is a tier 1 team that looks like they at least know what they want to do. We said last stage that it just kind of looked like they didn't know what they wanted to do. Now, I feel like it's much the opposite. So it's really good for Vitality. I'm sure all of the players are feeling really good as well. The scoreline at current 5-2 doesn't really depict how well they have been doing comparatively, but now we're on defense for them. I think we'll start to see an uprise, and I really hope I haven't cast a curse that.
We have cursed a few times today, and I don't mean in the bad sense in terms of using inappropriate language, more the cast a curse. We say something, it happens about 3 seconds later. It's always the way it tends to go. With the Ying coming along in this round for Draven, this is a bit unconventional for him as an operator. He's always been the grenade player on the team. I'm talking things like the Sledge, the Buck, the Iana as of late has been his main one that we've looked towards. Here on the Ying is definitely a different flavor for him. I'm keen to see what he can do with it.
Good yellow pings from the 2.0 system, but guess what? Bibu, who reads into the fact that he's being live droned and there's 3 drones around him, is being swarmed left, right, and center. And while an experienced player like Bibu, he knows how to deal with that. Rather than look at the drones, look at the player following it and caps him down instantly. Look at this buddy system we spoke about in the first half. He's with Hungry over towards Lab. It's hard to displace players who have a buddy with them and a crossfire situation. They're in really good spots. If Hungry is pushed, Bibu could rotate to him very quickly and help crossfire and vice versa there. So this is a really strong defensive setup from Vitality.
There's a couple of rounds on the attack in which Chate has been the opening death for them, and you might wager that yes, that's always going to be the case because, well, the Ashe is one of the first in the fight every single time. But still losing out those couple of fights against Ryze and Bibu is going to be costing them, as once more they're into a 5 versus 4. Now, they've been trying to get this wall open, but it's been electrified up by Goga there, who managed to trick it out the Selmas. So they're going to bail entirely on trying to make use of the Selmas to get the wall open and instead turn towards the blowtorch of the Maverick.
That's actually really smart there by Secret. They had both of the hard breaches there, and they said, okay, I'll get rid of the mute jammer, get the wall. When the mute jammer worked for the most part, they got the Selma on the wall and was tricked. Hive didn't even skip a beat. He started his work on making the wall soft, and guess what? Now it's open. They have a full minute left. This is good for Secret, but they've already lost a man over towards Drug. Now they need to be careful that they don't get flanked because they didn't clear those Drug players.
You've had Hungry sat on cams this whole time, though, and it's been sat inside of barrels, basically just sat there waiting. I imagine providing some info back to the team. I'm not exactly sure what, but maybe there's a default cam still left up somewhere by the side of Secret. Now he starts to spring into action. I'd expect to see maybe a rotate coming through, up past Bibu, round the top knuckle of the room, and look to catch something. They still got to deal with Ryze, mind you, thinking about it. He's up in cash still. He could play massive spoiler down Dragon here if the boys on Secret aren't aware of what his presence right now.
Oh, speak it into existence. Cast a curse, cast a curse. Ryze will get one, but gets traded straight back. With 15 seconds left, there's not a lot of health or time here for Secret to get this player off. I believe those will go through, and yes, they do, and Gogo should be flashed, but he has a C4 in hand. If he can stay alive, this could stop everything, but Bibu says, don't worry, buddy, I got you. All of the entryways, I've got you covered, and well, Secret, what looked like they might be able to recover that round was just insufficient in both their time and their ability to clear. It's a big weakness, especially on a map like Theme Park.
It's curious because we haven't seen Chate in an aggressive entry-ish role for, well, probably ever now. A long, long time, needless to say, on the side of Chaos. So I'm kind of surprised that it's him leading that charge and not Prano, given his stats last season in Stage 1, plus 11 when it came to KD, was the best in the whole division. I think it was like 15 and 4 in the end. Incredible. The guy does not miss on the entry. But here today, he's been an awful lot slower, and I was going to say it felt like he's being very quiet. He is 5 and 7 with 3 assists, so he's still being involved, but this ain't the Prana that we're used to seeing, and it feels very cruel to point that out, given he always plays so ridiculously well. But just a small note that he has been quiet today, and I think here in the second half, Secret are missing that oomph factor that he normally brings.
I think Theme Park's a hard map to have an oomph factor in as well, because if you do commit to the roam clear, it's on a very oddly... the layout is odd. Like if you're doing a drug clear, you've only really got 2 rooms to contend with, and there's only really 1 doorway on each side you can enter as well. You could then contend the windows, but there's so many hiding places for the defenders inside there, so you have to push in and get those short-range gunfights. And from my memory, Prano plays his weapon there with a 2 times, or he definitely plays with a 2 times from memory. So I'm pretty sure that probably wouldn't favor those close-range gunfights. He might have an angled grip, so that would assist him there. But I think for the most part, Shartey, R4C holographic is meant to be that close-range engagement fighter, and he hasn't been having a good one thus far. So, yeah, there you go. He does. Yep.
Okay, let's see if the fortunes change at all in this round, because for Secret now, looking at that scoreline, given it was sat at 5-1, and we were like, man, they're really thundering ahead in this game. Vitality has swung it back to 5-3, and no doubt, given how the first couple of attacks have looked for Secret, you'd probably be sweating a little bit if you're on their side now, or of course, if you are in their fan base. Whereas on the Vitality side, cautious optimism being shown of that, I am sure. It is going to be this initiation at an office hold. Normally an attack you'd see starting to come in from the cash side of things. But it looks like for Secret, the focus instead is going to be a couple. Packball, namely at the minute, looking in towards Kitchen. The rest putting a lot of focus in towards Cafe up to the north.
Looks like it's going to be a complete west to east push. I'm hoping that there will be a little bit of pressure from the east at least, especially from control. It's one of those areas that if you get the right angle, you can apply a lot of pressure on the small room that is initiation. It used to be a much bigger room. Nowadays, it's been tightened up. You've only really got one pillar and kind of half of a wall to hide behind, and that's not really an appropriate area to situate yourself once they open the wall. And there goes Hype. Hungry goes down. Sniper shot hits its target. And that's one of the C4s gone. And now Fabian's looking to trade up.
Good on the window inside of the connector there. Catch connector back into office. Catches the one. It is, however, just the one. It is the mute, so the C4 is missing, but I imagine there are at least two sat here for Rise and Goga. Oh, Fabian. All three of them, of course, with the potential to bring that gadget along. He's still lurking out here at the top of Dragon, speaking of the devil. And it's about denying the window entry. It's about denying the drop into control and then a push it from there. Again, almost trying to siphon the attackers, as we saw Secret doing back in the first half, into coming from where the defenders want them to.
Good peek there from Bibu, and that will take Draven down really low. Another good peek from Fabian. They're just aggressing. Window, door, window, door. They're not even letting them in the building. And as they do, it's going to be Packball straight into the vector of Fabian. This is a good hold here from Vitality. It's coupled with some ADSs as well, and it gives them the opportunity to rotate out, of which Fabian has done. Good picks, good round timer. This is looking good for Vitality.
And the stall that's going to put on the side of Secret as well, picking off a couple of their members, making them worry now about who's lurking around. And yes, Fabian dropped away, but my God, is he on fire today. 8 kills for himself so far. And those 2 kills in this round, no doubt of massive impact, because this was the round when Secret looked to have some momentum with that opening kill onto Hungry coming out. Draven will make sure they find a second at least to bring things back to 3 apiece. But we say that time waits for no one. It certainly won't be waiting for anyone here. Draven balances things out after Fabian found his triple kill, putting us into a 2 versus 1. Can Secret do this? They've only got about 13 seconds to go. I wonder where Prano was last round. He finds 2 kills from inside of the vault and gives Secret that crucial round to guarantee themselves at least a point.
When I said I hope there was some pressure over towards control, they all rotated and then they left that little bit of pinch pressure on the other side in the hands of Prano. We didn't see him, but God, was his impact felt. And that's the most important thing. You don't have to be the flashiest player, but you need to be a player that can make that impact when impact is needed. That is Prano. We've seen him do amazing things. I think the biggest part there was that had Draven not popped off over in cash on his own, that round would have gone to Vitality. It's probably a very sore loss for Vitality as well, because guess what? There's not going to be a match point for them here. There's only a draw point for them. And that means winning the next 3 rounds in a row. And against a Team Secret that, quite frankly, is on fire as of late, that's a hard task.
Our Vitality, the chaos of stage 1 brought into stage 2. 3 draws in a row they've had so far. And despite Secret being at match point here, I don't think it's too far to say that we could see Vitality still bring this back. Given how well they played in those first 2 couple of rounds on this half, I think they can do it. Outside of the kind of crazy gameplay of Prana there stepping up and showing us that he's still very much in this game. That's only really happened once in this game so far, and that was with Fabian still finding the triple kill earlier on in the round too. But I just don't think the lightning strikes twice here for Secret. Admittedly, it went for Vitality as well. You won't see Fabian achieve something like that again. I just think given what we saw in the first couple of rounds, we could see a repeat here coming out of Vitality, and it could bring us all the way up to a 6-6 scoreline.
After the fantastic showing of a couple of those Vitality players, namely Fabian there on that particular round, plus the strategy that they employed there, the real up-in-your-face aggressive strategy, I really enjoyed that strat. I think having lost it, shows me that even if you have a really good strategy and one or two of your players employing it really well, and you still lose it, that's probably not very telling of your ability on defense as a whole, I think. And on a map like Theme Park, you have to be able to cap those rounds out, especially when you're in such a good man advantage. There should be no reason you lose a round. So I'm not feeling too confident that Vitality can bring it back. Their only points have been out of draws this entire stage. Yes, maybe they're the new Chaos, but I think they might walk away with a loss here.
Feels like it's heading towards it, but again, this is Siege. This is EUL of all things. We had Oregon, what, 3-4 times last play day, and here we haven't yet seen it once. Times are changing, and things are crazy. No one knows what to expect, and it's not even Halloween yet. Started this round either way. 60 seconds in, no one dead just yet. Catch the cast, man. Rise finding Pat Bull. He's off the window, and that's the ace gone. Man, we spoke around the pretty crucial opening kill coming onto Hungary in the last round for Secret, but getting rid of the ace here removes all hard breach on the side of Secret. This is going to make this round pretty tough.
Well, without that hard breach, it's okay because they did want to push control and rotate right now. They could. C4 reigns up and Draven barely walks away with his life. But the fact that Draven's still standing shows one thing. There is not a lot of opportunity now here for Vitality to be able to counter them pushing in from Cafe. They don't have any more hard breach, so what they're going to have to hope for now is a bit of a Hail Mary push and gunfights only, which is a real shame because I can understand what Packball's job was on the break window to open up that wall, be able to shoot the window and displace anyone playing there. It's a power position. But now without him, they can't open up the vital line of sight towards the site.
Oh. They brought down Rise at least. Well, not dead, but he is down. No one really probably feeling too risky about getting too close to try and bring that one back up, I'd imagine. However, there is a soft, nice hard wall between them and the aggressors in this case. They do net one back across two with Hive going down. That's two pretty crucial operators gone. So now it's down to Shate, Prano and Draven with one drone, 40 seconds and a dream between them and a couple of low health members on the other side, but they are still finding these kills. And once again, it's the same issue. Everyone trying to come through Cafe. Vitality shut it down in style with their second flawless round of the half.
Oh, Goga. Well done, my dude. Very last bullet in the mag, and you'll be able to get that nice spray transfer across those two different players, one coming up yellow and one coming across the bridge there. That's a good round from Vitality, but it came out of the fact that they got that early pick. Rise, a huge impact frag. He may have only gotten one, but you take out the only hard breach, and this is what we talk about. Sometimes if you don't have a backup plan, you know, a sort of a backup hard breach on your lineup, then you're consistently relying on that one player to, one, even be alive to deploy it, and two, deploy it without it being tricked or countered in any way. And Packball was that guy. So it's a shame that he went down. Had he still been alive, maybe this round would have gone different, but Vitality, flawless round, very well deserved. And they kept their calm when they realized that the angles favored them.
Sweating yet, Jess? You feeling that draw?
2 rounds. It is not unthinkable. It is not out, you know, it's super within the grab of Vitality here. They just need to keep their composure, and they're still on defense. This is their half.
And the side that we saw Secret win was that initiation a couple of rounds ago. It came from a pretty big flurry from Prano at the end. So we're looking here for the hero player on Secret if they want to claim all 3 points. Vitality, more of the same, please. They've been playing very well in this half. Yes, they've dropped that 1 round. Secret only dropped the 1 round in their half. That was round number 2, in which we saw a ferocious execute through Cafe from the side of Vitality. In that last round, as we saw the same thing try to come out of the side of Secret, we said, well, that ain't really working. They got flawless rounded. Everyone got shut down inside of Cafe. It most definitely did not contain the same level of ferocity, but I'll always come back to that thing the point I made earlier on around pressure here. If you're the team that's at 6 points, all you got to do is do one thing crazy, catch one player off guard, and suddenly the whole game can fall like dominoes to your side. That pressure is going to lean on Vitality here a little bit. We should diminish their propensity for risk, the capability maybe to go aggressive. They want to make sure they're being calm and composed about this.
The buddy system in play yet again down in lab. That'll be Bibu and Hungary's job. Last time they tried to clear them and it didn't go so well for them whatsoever. This time, I'm wondering whether or not they just commit to the top floor. Rise is all on his lonesome. Okay, 2 of the Vitality boys could come up and assist him if he called for it. But for the most part, he's by himself. He's got those 11 kills already, so he's been having a great game. And we said before, impact kills left, right, and center. I think what Secret need to do, focus on the top floor. They don't have that Kali to be able to afford them the walls, either in barrels or maintenance. So they've got to focus on getting yellow wall now. And that means getting top floor. But almost half the round has elapsed. Do they even have top floor yet? Good question.
No. I mean, it looks
Where
like
are
it's
they?
just the one player
Oh, there
lurking.
we go.
Yeah, they have the one vigil who's still lurking out towards the west, but he's now dropped the one vigil, as if there are multiple vigils in this round. The one player, I guess you could say, in this case, it was Rise, has now dropped back down inside a drug. So they do have this vertical control. 90 seconds gone. No one left on the side of Vitality, and they killed a couple of drones in the process, so pretty successful roam overall. Yes, no one's dead, but they have wasted time, and that is the most critical resource that you can burn.
Vitality this time, I don't think they've reinforced the drug walls. You know what Rise could do? He could impact the lab walls, and if anyone tries to open up, especially since they're using a thermite, which requires direct contact, he could just shoot the thermite player as he goes to the yellow wall. I don't know whether they might even have bullet holes, and as I say that, well, Hive is able to get that vertical hold there. That's a really good use of probably what is considered an OG way of clearing out lab, is to have those verticals above. But I think Rise can still do damage from that angle.
Might be able to catch the guy in the back corner here, and let's not forget as well, there are a couple of grenades held on side, and look, they know about this player in the corner. They've got rid of Hungary for one, and now they're even completely flashbanging the living hell out of Fabian sat in the back corner. This is the thing that Vitality failed to do when they were on their execute not too long ago. Down to suddenly everything in a 2 versus 4. It's Rise and Goga to keep Vitality in the game, or Secret take their 4th win in a row. They find a 4th kill in a row of this round as Chate finds one. Rise all by himself, flash to the high heavens. How many grenades does Secret need? Apparently no more. They take the game 7-4. That is their 4th win. A team that could barely scrape together a win last season is at 4 wins in a row, ladies and gents. What a start to the season for Secret.
It's almost like we're seeing yet another BDS come out of almost nowhere. I think these changes, these roster changes that we saw from Secret were a little bit shocking that they worked so well, so quickly. You can see there, Rise, Goga, they had a bit of impact on that particular game, but again, it's Prano, it's Hive, and almost every single player of Secret there